Welcome back. It is Season 7, Round 1 of SSRL. Welcome on in, everybody, and welcome back to the return of the Silly Season Racing League. I am still your commentator and broadcaster, Dave, maybe even Wingus. Who knows? Let's have a look at your driver team and lineup for this evening and for the rest of the season, we hope. McLaren's filled in by Moksha, Kavachka. Ferraris have Russia, Siri, and Kwan. Red Bull have Bards and Jolly Boy John. Andy, Andre, and Shaggy fill out the Mercedes seats. Of course, a return to the Mercedes for Andy Andre. Got a couple of titles with that team as well. Andrew and Race Chase fill out your Aston Martins. Ryan Brooks and Herman in the Alpine. That could be one to look out for. Very powerful duo there in the universe of SSRL. Verstappen and Crank Jorg in the Haas. Mr. Router and Racing Bulls in the Racing... Well, sorry, Mr. Router and Flip Ramsram in the Racing Bulls. Williams and Quincy... Williams have Quincy and Bavish, of course. Quincy, a Division 2 champion from Season 6. Can he maybe make the step up this season? Wait and see. But finally, the Kick Salbers of Energetic and Tark and Gino fill out your 20 driver field. And of course, we are starting tonight in Azerbaijan. Baku is, of course, your starting point. We'll just go through half the races just because we do need to still put to the race feed. Then round 2 will be in Singapore, which, of course, the real-life Formula 1 universe is visiting this coming weekend. Then we're off to Japan for round 3. Then to complete one of 3 United States Grand Prix, it's Austin for round 4. Round 5, then we jump to Mexico with a hop to Brazil for round 6. And of course, last time out in Baku, a 6-kilometer circuit in the country of Azerbaijan with 20 turns was last featured on Season 5 of Round 4, where the top 5 were Quincy, Fellow Son, Moksha, Troll, and then of course your winner, of course, predictably, Andy Andre. Let's go to your race feed and see what's happening out in qualifying. Let's fade out this music as well. And let's just see what's happening. And of course, a new little rule, which is a bit, how do we say it in the world of English? Quirky, I suppose? I don't know, is that maybe not the best use of it, but like, it's a kind of like juxtaposition, if you will. It is rainy qualifying, and that is a bit of a quirk for this season. It is going to be every single qualifying done in the wet. And so essentially, we are going to have all of these in the wet. And of course, a couple of drivers were really fearing that, especially Ryan Brooks. He was in the Discord saying, I am not looking forward to the wet qualifying. But guess who's out to take the field through this qualifying session? It is, of course, none other than your 5-time champion, Andy Andre, of course, drivers champion since we split Division 1 and 2, since Season 2. Unbeaten. Only Danger David and Herman the German have gotten close. And of course, we celebrated the return of Herman since, I think, last season, because in Season 5, he kind of relegated himself into the commentary box just to take a break from F1 24 as he found the physics to not really be to his liking. And then, of course, since being on F1 25, has gotten a lot of practice, played a lot of breaking point, and has gotten himself up to speed. Now, Truckster filling in as a reserve tonight, so Andy Andre doesn't have his teammate with him, but of course, Andy Andre is not the one that needs the carrying. If anything, the team needs him to carry them. So, of course, big expectations on Andy Andre again this season, especially back to a seat he is familiar with. And the Mercedes has never really let the Romanian down. But of course, remember, the German is back with us as well. Of course, back in... Yeah, I have to go all the way back to Season 1 before SSRL was split into 2 divisions. And he has surely going to be thinking, okay, I've got to get my head down. And with the wet qualifying, can he maybe take advantage of these very alternative conditions that the drivers are not used to? They, of course, prefer a dry qualifying going into a dry race, but that's not going to be happening this time around. It is going to be just wet qualifyings. Of course, I will probably have to remind you of that point every week from now on, in case if anybody goes, why are we in wet qualifying again? Because that's the rules. Well, a lot of drivers on a flying lap right now. Let's cut back to the Mercedes of the current world champion, Andy Andre, who's, of course, finishing his lap right now, has gone through the 20 turns that have preceded the start-finish line, and he will be across the line any moment now. And just to clarify Underling's question, welcome on into everybody in the chat. Thank you to Anno for the pin message as well. 154.4 for that is Quincy, sorry, because guess what, as Crank Jorg has crashed it at I think that's 7, 8, and 9 there. So Crank Jorg is out. Is your first retirement of the qualifying session here in SSRL, and well, that is unfortunately a record Crank Jorg will have to hold on to. As Verstappen's also got across the line a few moments ago, 156.1. And in all the circuits in all of the world, you wouldn't have thought that you would want a wet qualifying in Baku. Of course, F1 learned that the hard way in real life, and I think SSRL is going to learn that the even harder way tonight, even in the virtual world, as Ryan Brooks now up into third. One of the ones fearing the qualifying tonight, as I said already. But Bavish as well, one to look out for this season. Got a lot of great momentum from last season, but going into the pre-season last week, just looking at the results, Bavish actually started in, well, was 13th after his DNF. So it didn't really get a chance to show what he's made of. Of course, that was a random grid at a 100% race distance where Andy Andre got third, and guess where he finished? First, of course. But I would like to say Quirky Boy. So Quirky Boy trying to find a league. But anyway, Bavish still aligned now from 13th place, which is where he DNF'd from last week, and he will be across the line any moment now. What is the time gonna be from the Williams car? This looks good. It's good for pole for now. So the Williams lock out 1-2 at this early point of qualifying, as I think that was, no, it wasn't Flip. Who was that across the line? One of the Red Bulls. So that will have been Jolly Boy John, and he's just going through turn 1 now. He's up into 6th place. Great time from the Red Bull. And now the other Mercedes of Truckster, of course, the reserve filling in for Andy's teammate tonight. Or was that Andy going across the line? Beg your pardon. It was. Sorry about that. Because Truckster is just at 7, or is just 8 and 9 now, just before the castle section. So, of course, Verstappen... No, sorry. Yeah, so, of course, he's just gone past the place where Crank Jorg crashed, and is now going to continue on for his outlap. So he shouldn't be pushing this too hard, but I really want to see what this Sector 1 will be from Andy Andre. Nearly half a second down on Bavish, or just over half a second down on Bavish there. And let's see what he can do. That's one. Wow. Andy Andre is pulling a miracle here. 1.6 seconds in his personal best. Remember, the delta compares to the driver's personal best on the top right, not the overall session best. So you have to kind of deduct the math from the time and then see where that would put the driver. But Andy Andre, I think, is on a second lap in terms of his tyres. Yes, he is, as is Quincy, and I think Bavish will be in a few moments' time as well. Of course, the intermediates, you don't really need to come into the pits and then replace them like you would with a dry set of tyres. You can actually still set reasonable times with the tyres you got on. Now, through Sector 2, Andy Andre is just approaching the timing line now, which will be just here. 2 seconds up. Goodness me, this could be a mega time that he combines with, but of course the track evolution is going to be working in favor to the drivers behind him. So remember that. Of course, what is track evolution for those that are new? Track evolution is where the track grips up as the session goes on. So of course, as the cars continue to spread moisture across the surface, it means that a few lines will start appearing, as it's a 152.8 from Andy Andre there. So lost a lot on straight line speed there. No real surprise considering we are in wet conditions. I want to see Bards now. Bards was very competitive in the game. In the game. He was, of course he was. Bards was competitive in Division 2. Got 2 wins there last season, so he's been given the automatic promotion, as did Herman, for the same reason. to Division 1, and now Bards will come across the line, and with his first flying lap of the season, is nearly half a second up on the current champion. So Andy Andre not adapting. Well, I say he's not adapting, but he isn't doing bad either. He's not being washed away by the rain. No pun intended, I promise. He's not being washed away in this qualifying, and we are currently seeing not a Romanian domination as of right now. Quincy just came in with a time there, 1:53.1, and at the moment it looks to be, it looks to be like, you know, Andy is definitely not being the getaway car that we're used to seeing him. And yeah, no, track evolution is there. I promise you that. Track evolution is definitely a thing on this game. That's why when we had the one-shot qualifying from Season 6 in both divisions, that's why we only said first 5 minutes. You had to set a time because the track evolution would have reduced the times, and that meant that other drivers who waited later could go faster. So that was why we said first 5 minutes. So track evolution definitely a thing in this game. Times are already coming down, as you can see. We're already in the 1:52s thanks to Bards and Andy, and Bards now would be a championship contender. I'm just trying to see who else is there. Mr. Wouter has really been in and around the top 5, but it's never converted it into a championship run. So he's already on a 1:53.666. The number of the beast for the Racing Bulls driver, but hopefully the curse of the beast doesn't come to haunt him. Herman just making his way through the castle section now. Just so you know, there was a pre-race briefing in the Discord before we went racing, as there's a McLaren who's facing the wrong way. That will either be of Moksha or Kovachka. Of course, I'm expecting good things from Moksha, considering that he was actually not. It wasn't that far off being competitive in the Williams. So I'm hoping the fact that the McLarens in real life are actually somewhat competitive, that the German can actually make his way to maybe some championship competition. I'm not really going to know where things stand until we're really into round 4. Maybe even then, I'm not even going to be sure, because this qualifying will be throwing up all sorts of results, and we'll see what happens. But I think Herman is coming into the pits, and yeah, no, he's well off the time, as then his teammate Ryan Brooks has just jumped him for 6th place. So Ryan Brooks there with a 1:54.0 is 1.6, 1.7 seconds away from the leading time of Andy, and that is Trugster just coming out behind him there. Of course, his teammate only for the evening, so we'll wait and see how that comes around. But now I'm looking at Verstappen, because he started in 4th place for the randomized pre-season race, but was able to keep it in 3rd place. Of course, Herman, who was 2nd at the start of that, picked a really bad strategy and just fell down the field, and in the end he did recover it up into a nice 5th place. But I think you would have been expecting a podium, considering he has been on course to be a championship contender since, let's see, what was it, season 4. Of course, remember that 3-driver epic. Of course, that went down to the final round, where sadly Danger David had to call it quits in the pits because his car was just too tail happy at the rear end. And then, of course, Herman took it all the way down to the final lap, and in the end, it was Andy Andre who still came out on top and taken his 3rd title in a row. That was all the way back in Spain, as they go Verstappen up to 5th there, and that's his pace from last week, showing now into the top 5, not only the top 10 for the Haas driver. And as we were looking away, well, Babish went up to 2nd, but then his teammate in the Williams, Quincy, then jumped to 2nd place. And with 5 minutes to go, I think I can start to see we might be on for a 4-car battle for pole position. But then again, Chugster hasn't set a lap either, so he could be the 5th car that comes into all of this. Keep an eye on everybody. But let's also look at some other drivers as well that we haven't given any attention to. Jolly Boy John currently down in Sector 1 as well, so he's out of that. We know what's happened with... that was Babish. He's just come off a flyer, so I really want to see what Andrew is up to. He's really down on his times here. 16th place, number 1:55.8. There's definitely more time to find in that Aston Martin, as there's been other drivers in front of him to set a lap. One of those being, I think that was Moksha there, jumping it up into 12th place, 1:54.3 for the McLaren driver. The McLaren's currently outside the top 10. They're going to be hoping for some improvements, but I really want to see where Andrew will stand as he comes across the Sector 2 timing line right now, 1.8 seconds away. So this drops him into the 1:54, 1:53, depends on what he did through Sector 1 as well. As there you go, you can see he's trying to keep the foot to the floor there. Let's go on board with the Aston Martin driver as he approaches the line. Remember, no DRS in this qualifying session because of the wet conditions, so it is on pure pace alone. Aston Martin, how is it on straight line speed? We'll find out. It's a 1:53.6, and that is the top 10 there. More representative time there. Andrew jumping from the Williams to the Aston Martin for this season. And Andy Andre there, we are expecting great things from the 5-time in a row champion here in Division 1. But of course, we have seen great things from Quincy, the Division 2 champion from Season 6. So current World Championship contenders are right up there, but Bards as well showed promising pace towards the end of the Season 6. And of course, took a couple of wins in Division 2, as I have said already. And there you go, 3/10 only from Andy Andre in in qualifying at that moment in Sector 1, beg your pardon. And now, as he comes through the right-hander, I think that's turn 10 or something like that. Of course, I'll get my track map out for you when we're taking a break between the quali and the race. Through the castle section, the Mercedes goes, and now he is going on to the final part of the lap. But the Sector 2 timing line is just before the last sharp turn as Trugster up into 3rd place there, pipping Andy down to 5th place. That is a mega time from the British driver, and at the moment now is currently looking to maybe just have one more go. But at the moment we have cautions in Sector 1 and 3, so I can't really tell you where he stands. But then Andy, 0.8 of a second there. This is enough for pole. He can go out for another lap, but it is going to be very, very tight. He would have to remain on these fresh intermediate tyres, so great timing from Andy. But let's just put into perspective, great timing from everybody else as well. Maybe Trugster, yeah, he'll definitely have one more lap, but Andy is going to be very tight indeed. He will have just over 2 minutes, but that's a 1:51.4, and Andy proving why he's a 5-time champion again to the top of the boards there with an emphatic time over 0.9 of a second away from Bards there, and over a second to Quincy. And again, Andy Andre is the one going away, and Quincy, well, I said it would be tight for Andrew, but it is gonna be really tight for Quincy. Of course, at the moment, Andy and Quincy on the same piece of track, and through the castle section, you can see on the track map a cluster of vehicles there. The only driver not to set a time will be Crank Jog, so he is going to be last regardless, as Kabachka's retired, but that is in the pit lane there. That's Moksha just going through the orange dot there on your screen through the castle section. So Moksha will still run, but Kabachka calling it a day. 1:20 to go. Trugster will get another lap on the board. Bards, though, has just begun his final fire. He's in 2nd place. I'm trying to keep an eye on who's where, but Trugster will be coming to the line. Will be one of the last drivers to set a fire there. He's just going down the start finish straight now. But for Bards, this is last chance, last saloon for the Red Bull. And, well, this has already been a good qualifying from the Red Bull driver, so he really doesn't have need to prove anything further for his first race. Not a lot of pressure, but if he could just finish good, that would be great. Salvi up to 6th place, the debutant in the Tifosi car, up into 6th place. That will be his final flying lap. Can he stay there? Has to rely on other people around him, though, as we're going to look at Andrew as he's just going across the start-finish line now. So his teammate Race Chase currently in 12th. I think he's coming off of a flyer. And, well, yeah, he's just finishing his flyer. And 4th place! Salvi there in a bit of trouble here because Andrew now is coming to the line. 6.5 tenths for the Aston Martin driver. There's a Haas approaching the line as well as a kick. Sauber has retired in the pit lane, so that's okay. Nothing really will happen from that as Andrew into 7th. Then there's a McLaren across the line, but no, there is not. It's somebody else going across the line. But Bart's there with a 1:51.3. Andy needs to get another lap underway, and he has. Quincy's in the runoff. He's not improving, but the shock from that Race Chase up to 4th in wet qualifying. I did not expect that, but Trugster also on a lap. There's a Alpine coming to the line. That's Herman there. He's 0.5 tenth up in Sector 2. Let's see what the Herman can do. Ryan Brooks is also behind him, but has got a Mercedes of Trugster separating the cars. And there's a lot of traffic just before the castle station, but Herman can't improve. Oh no, Herman cannot go any faster. So Ryan Brooks to give the Alpine some performance, but that is a horrid exit for the British driver there, Ryan Brooks, who's always happy with a podium, but I don't... Oh, he's got a mountain to climb if he wants that, and he's also got a end plate missing. That will be contributing heavily to his handling woes. Where is Truckster? He's just got across the line now to 3rd place, but Ryan Brooks has to settle for 12th place as Ferrari of Salvi comes in behind. And then who is next? It's one of the Red Bulls. Bart's currently in pole, but Jolly Boy John will have to settle for 5th. And then there's another driver to the line. Is that Babish? It is 3rd place for him. But Andy Andre down in Sector 2 by 10th. I don't think he's going to do it unless he's found something magical in Sector 3. Verstappen is just behind him as well. And Alamo Babish, of course, up to 3rd. So qualifying shaking up at the last few minutes. But Andy does not improve. So what about Verstappen? That is 7th place for him. But what about Quincy? The only driver not to... Well, will be... Ah, oh, no, he was off of a flying lap anyway. But Race Chase invalidated. And Andrew, well, also coming off 5 laps. But what a qualifying that was. Really, hell, had to hold on to the end to know what was happening. But it looks like it's Bart and Andy Andre who are going to be battling out. But, of course, this is only qualifying. There is still a race to come. But I'll tell you what, some great times there. Let's have a look. Salvi kind of dropped out of the top 10 after that, which is about where it would be, considering race pace from last week. Babish up to 3rd as well. Great time at the death for him. Mr. Welter back in competitive form with a 152.370. Of course, nearly 700ths off of Babish's time. So Mr. Welter there with an impressive time in the Racing Bulls. And that is really all said and done. So qualifying kind of ended up being a grid that we predicted, especially Bard's there. Great stuff from the Red Bull driver, and this are your official qualifying results. So your top 3 are Bards, Andy, Babish, with your top 5 rounded out by Mr. Walter and Drugster respectively. 6th to 10th is Quincy, Verstappen, Jolly Boy John, Waze Chase, and Andrew. And then your 11th to 15th is Salvi, Energetic, Ryan Brooks, Herman the German, and Flip, with your 16th to 19th drivers being Moksha, Kovachka, Tarkangino, Crank Jorg. Of course, Crank Jorg unable to set time as he crashed out in the early minutes of qualifying. I think somebody who is going to be disappointed with that qualifying performance, though, is the McLaren of Moksha. Of course, showed great competitive spirit at the end of Season 6, but has sadly not translated into results. Of course, you remember when Andrew and in Monza, when Andrew and Moksha were teammates for that one round, and then they made contact and found themselves spinning at the first Variante. And it just seems like maybe a bit of that is remaining for Moksha, but hopefully he can put it all behind him, and then we will take it from there. But otherwise, I'm just going to take a quick few minutes. I'm going to bring up a track map, and then we will take it from there. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back for our half-distance Grand Prix here in Baku. 2 weeks of anticipation are nearly over. We are about to begin round one here at what began life as the European Grand Prix and since 2017 became the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It is SSRL for Season 7, Round 1. Welcome back, of course. Andy Andre looking to make a 6 in a row Drivers' Champion, so his campaign already off to a good start here. Starts second place, but Bard's looking to be competitive. Potentially one to look out for as well. I would also probably just suggest that there are other drivers there that might mature out through the season. Like, keep an eye out on Herman, for example. Like, of course, remember, being Season 1 champion, will be certainly not one you want to count out right away. And then also, you want to also count in perhaps Bavish as well. Of course, got third place there at the line, of course, in a wet quali. We've got to see how dry conditions work out. But everybody perfectly poised to be a great race otherwise. And of course, this circuit currently holds the highest speed achieved, which is, of course, 235 miles per hour by Bottas in the Williams FW35, which I think was either 2017 or 2016. But let's go through your grid one more time. The formation lap underway. Bard will be starting on medium tyres, as will the rest of the grid, bar 4 drivers. It is him on pole position in the Red Bull. Andy Andre then in second place. Of course, as we already said, looking to make it 6 championships in a row. Bavish in third place will be one of the drivers hoping to sort that out. He had great form at the end of last season. Will be very happy with his qualifying, especially in wet conditions. Mr. Welter right back up there with everybody. He starts fourth with Trugster, of course, the reserve, starting in 5th place now. The only driver within the top 10 to start on hards is SSRL Quincy, coming into tonight as Division 2 champion from Season 6. Can he probably, maybe, make the step up and go champion in Division 1? Verstappen starts 7th, showing good pace from last week, but got a bit to do. 7th place for the Haas driver. Jolly Boy John, Bard's his teammate there. Red Bull could be on for a great Constructors' Championship if things continues. Then it's the Aston Martins of Race Chase and Andrew rounding out your top 10. Then it's Salvi in 11th with 12th place being Energetic with 13th Brian Brooks. Herman the German also rounding out the Alpine, the second driver on the hards. Top 15 Flip rounded up by Flip. Then from 16th to 19th, the two McLarens on the same strategy. Hard tyres for Moksha, Gavatska, then Tarkan Gino and Crank Jog. Of course, Crank Jog failing to set a time in qualifying due to crashing out early in the session. Of course, it was actually at turns 5 and 6 where the Haas crashed out there, so apologies if I told you otherwise. But now we are approaching the start-finish line. Bard's taking the 18 drivers behind him. Can we have a Roscoe tribute? Of course we can, of course. I think that is only fair. As a lover of animals and, of course, a pet dog of, well, technically, I share with my fiancée. Of course, it was a bit sad to hear about Roscoe tonight. So, of course, commentary in dedication to Roscoe tonight. And, of course, I do hope that Lewis Hamilton, as, of course, all of us around, we send our thoughts to him. SSRL Quincy disqualifies from the warm-up lap because of parking incorrectly on his grid slot. Well, everybody else starting to make their way through the field. So we're just waiting for 19th place to line up. He has. Let's cut to bars as the countdown is a few moments away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. It's go in Baku, and it is Bard there with the better start there. I think Andy might have the traction at the start, but Trunk's already up into 4th place, so that is, and that's Bavish up 1 as well, so Andy losing another position out of turn 1. Bavish went round the outside there for what it looked like, but they've gone side by side into turn 2, and they've come out all guns are blazing, but that is Herman in the barrier, and he's had a spin at turn 2. I don't think anybody else has been collected there. but Herman now points the right way. It's now Energetic and Race Chaser going side by side with one another. The King Sauber making up a position already. Can he get that completed? He certainly can, but his teammate Andrew, reverse fortunes. He's up 4 positions already. And Ryan Brooks there battling with Flip. Not successfully, as Flip now gets 2 positions, but now Ryan fighting back through turn number 4, then through turn number 5 and 6, beg your pardon, and then that is all said and done. So Ryan gets that position back as soon as he lost it. So Flip now up 1, but the lead, well, in Ballard's trying to break away from this pack, but look at the 2 Mercedes drivers. So that is 3rd and 4th for them, but the Williams are separated by 5 positions, and Mr. Wouter on lap 1 already has a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. You have to serve those post-race, can't be served in the pit lane. But Quincy on those hard tyres surprisingly hasn't lost the position, as Bards has had a moment and has lost the lead of the race. So Babish is your new leader of the Grand Prix. Of course, no DRS on this lap, so Bards will have a bit of a harder time, but he has a long start-finish straight to use the slipstream, use the ERS, and will the Williams be equal to this? Let's go aboard with Chugster, and it doesn't look like Chugster will be close enough to do anything, so let's look at Andy, and now Bards and Babish look like they were going to go side by side there, but Babish was the fastest up of the race, obviously for being the first across the line on lap 1, and as we say that, Energetic and Jolly Boy John are fighting into turn 1 for what is 9th place there, the Kick Sauber. What was that? Well, nothing's happened as far as I can see, but goodness me, that was a loud kaboom there. I don't know if any of that was picked up on the stream, but I just honestly heard a loud kaboom in my right ear as we see Ryan Brooks now battle for 12th place there, was trying to make a move for 11th. Let me know, chat, if you heard that, if you were here at the time. But goodness me, that really caught me off guard there. So Quirky heard it. Oh, okay, at least I haven't gone insane just yet. But goodness me, I don't have a clue. It doesn't look to be any damage on any of the cars, so it looks to be racing as normal. But Babish, look at that, is checked out by 1.2 seconds. And already now, it's going to be a bit of work if Bards wants to try and catch up and remain within DRS here, because Babish now, from Marussia, I don't think I've said that correctly, have I? The Mauritian driver? Oh goodness me, I'm gonna have to look into that. I feel so dumb right now, chat. Please don't hound me on that. I will look into that and just make sure I've got that right, in case if we do have to speak to, in case if we do speak to Babish at the end of this race. Considering his position right now, he does qualify for a post-race interview, but here we go. Andy Andre now trying to make up his lost positions from the start of the race. Only lost 1, but Babish there with the fastest lap of the race and hasn't had that taken away. So Andy Andre now up into 2nd place through turn 1. That move gets done, but Bards can fight that right back. But let's have a look. What's going on at the end of the field? Oh my goodness me! Flip Namsram misses his braking point into turn 1. The McLaren of Boxsham will get that back. And, well, that was a bit of a scary moment there for the Racing Bulls driver, but takes avoiding action to avoid a collision, essentially. And as soon as Andy got past Bards, that was all said and done. As Andrew, he's crashed! Where has he crashed? Oh, he's crashed at the front. I think we're about to see the scene of the crime there. No, we are not. Because I think he's gone off in the runoff area, I think. It's a VSC deployed. So, yeah, no, there he is. There's a tyre in the background of your frame there. So something happened coming into turn number 3, and it's brought out a VSC, but of course the pack remain bunched together. Of course, because we're only in the early part of the race, and nobody's really found a bit of ground to get away. Energetic, by the way, came out of the pit lane there and is now up into 18th thanks to that crash. Herman with a horrible return so far. And that alone is probably going to cement a pretty miserable race there. Drive-through penalty for speeding under virtual safety car conditions. You have to serve that within 3 laps. You can't really do anything about that until you've done it. So he has a maximum of 3 laps to get that served, and then of course doesn't have to. Well, he doesn't stop in his pit box, as Jolly Boy John has had a moment there as he's back underway. No, he's not. So what's happened to you? Oh, he's facing the wrong way. Where is this? Oh, get back underway quickly. There's cars coming. Oh, no, there's one car coming. It's okay. it was energetic. It was too far back anyway. But that means Jolly Boy John is dropped. He's out of the top 15 and in a lot of trouble. And already Truckster is looking to make a move on the Mercedes here. But then as soon as I say that, Salvi, who's actually having a pretty good race, all things considered, is currently running in 9th place. Just lost a position to the American Aston driver of Race Chase. And now Race Chase carrying the Aston Martin flag after Andrew's crash at the corner we are approaching right now. The leaders go through that. And by the way, a 10-second penalty for Jolly Boy John for speeding in the pit lane. So he will have to serve that either at his next pit stop or post-race if he's on a one-stop. But there's a Ferrari! Oh, they've crashed! Salvi there, who I was saying had a good start, has now crashed it almost immediately. And then he's also missing a lot of front wing end plate for good measure. And all of a sudden now, Salvi's fortunes change in a heartbeat. And they are, well, he's now looking to needing to come in for a front wing replacement. And, well, of course, an update on the battle with it for what is 3rd place right now. Bards is being left behind by both Andy and Bavish. And Andy and Bavish are actually sharing quite a good battle there. Only 1.1 seconds between, and we will cut back to that when they get to the detection point. Oh my goodness me, no! We're going to see Bards in the wall, similar to his teammate, and now he's going to probably drop back in the standings because now Race Chase has made a move. Don't reverse too early. There's Salvi just coming through, trying to keep this in view for as long as I can. There we go. Bards finds a bit of room between Tarkingino and Energetic, the two kickstabbers, and he'll be back underway without any intervention from race control required. But now Truckster has finally made his way past off camera to 3rd position just while we were waiting for that to just kind of clear up. Whoa, did you see that drift? Would that be on the Red Bull who went in the barrier? Because then, yes, I did. As Salvi now into the pits, as we expected. He will be dropping down the order 2. And, well, he's gonna really be struggling now to really gain some positions. His Grand Prix was off to an excellent start, but it's already kind of been undone thanks to that. Of course, he was fighting as Truckster has crashed. Truckster crashes at the same point, and surely that's a safety car. It's not. No, Truckster, look, he's facing the wrong way. And how was that not a safety car? Goodness me, and already we've had 2 DNFs in the space of 5 laps. Let's see if we can catch a word with Truckster before they get underway. Of course, under VSC again, as I'm apparently in 2 places at once, the pre-race briefing. Let's see if we can just grab a quick word with Truckster. Let's see. I'll just send the message now. Wait, did I say quick DNF without saying interview? I think I did. Yes, I did. I think... Oh, goodness me. Let me just add that on real quick. There you go. All right, so there we go. So we'll see if Truckster makes his way in. I wouldn't blame him if he didn't, to be honest. As Herman... Oh, another one! That's Herman's 2nd drive-through! In a 5 laps, Herman, the German, having a horrible Grand Prix so far. And another drive-through under VSC, as now that has all come to an end. As now with Jolly Boy John passing the line where Truckster DNF'd. At the moment, though, he is currently... It's looking like Truckster will not be joining us for a quick interview, but... Oh, well, it is. Oh, here we go. Quincy now, thanks to all of the chaos happening in front of him, is now going to have DRS. He's going to go down the inside of Verstappen into turn 1, but Verstappen will fight this, I promise you that. And they go side by side out of turn 1, but it is Verstappen that wins out. By the way, Moksha and Kovachka swap places. Moksha now up into 8th place. That's one of the overtakes that happened in the background, but we'll stay with this one for now. On board with the Division 2 champion from Season 6. Oh, this will be easy as you do. And yes, it is all said and done. And can he keep the cars pointing straight? Yes, he can. Those hard tyres will start to come to life now. So oh, again! Another Aston Martin at the same place as his teammate retired. He will continue going, though, luckily. And, well, he finds a gap, gets himself underway, and very soft on the throttle from the Aston Martin. But look at that end front wing there, completely destroyed. He will have to come into the pits to get that replaced. And as soon as we say that, Well, well, well. Look, Andy Andre is underneath that 1 second bubble to his qualifying rival. Well, I say qualifying rival, but that was Bard's there. But Bard's has unfortunately ruined his race so far, and we might be seeing a safety car at some point. Please do not bring that out of the equation just yet. Of course, there is a big exciting battle going on for what is 8th place. Kavachka being checked out as, oh, wait a minute! Quincy! After that, oh no! Ryan Brooks goes into the side of Quincy, and Quincy is missing a front wing end plate. He will have to go into the pits, and Quincy's great run of form is about to get a lot more difficult, and all of a sudden, Quincy now really dropping back. As Al Moksha is getting involved in this. We just talked about him a few moments ago, and look at how close the McLaren is. Of course, look at how close the leaders are as well. We'll cut back to that at the earliest opportunity, and I think that will be now, because I do believe Quincy's going to just head straight for the pits. And yes, no, they both are. So, okay, let's go back to the battle for the lead then. Currently, Andy RJ not close enough to take advantage of this, as both Quincy and Moksha into the pit lane, but Ryan Brooks will continue moving forward, hoping for a safety car potentially, and then will make his pit stop. But what a race this has turned out to be so far, and a lot of chaos happening all the time. As Salvi there is with the undercut strategy, is back into 11th. Oh, goodness me, if you've pitted early because of front wing problems, well, look at you, you're on an undercut. And you're on an undercut masterclass so far. Bards as well has found a way past. Wow, okay, Bard's not out of this one just yet, but of course will be vulnerable to the DRS behind of Quincy, but I don't think Quincy will have those tyres up to temperature as of right now. Look at him, he'll be going left and right, but we have a caution for one of the kick salvers. Is that it is Tark and Gino there getting it wrong at 5 and 6, but luckily no intervention from virtual race control required. We continue going, but then I say that and we have Jolly Boy John in the barrier at turn 1, but we continue going again. So that means we will cut back to the battle for the lead here, and Andy RJ is the closest he's been for a while. Let's see what he can do under DRS. It's at half a second, the closest he's been for a few laps now. Well, Babish checked out earlier on. And, well, we do have Chuckster in the commentary box, but we just need to see what happens with these two DRS zones, because this is all for the battle of the lead. We're on lap 8 out of 26 now. Now we're going to go for the second DRS. Of course, the two kick salvers swap positions. I do think Tarkagino has damage, so that's nothing unexpected there. But now, DRS zone number 2 out of turn 2. There, it will be opening for the 5-time in a row world champion, and he's going to try something in turn 3. He's close enough, he's alongside. That's a slam dunk move, actually, because Andy made it late, but look at Babish, he's still side by side with the world champion. He's really going to bring a fight. They both lock up, and that's Andy going very wide indeed. He's in the runoff, and Mr. Welter will have a free run at 3rd place, and yet Andy Andre loses to 2nd place, but that is a 3-second penalty, of course, post-race coming Mr. Welter's way. But Andy, after all of that, is out drifting through the next turns there of 5 and 6, and I think finally we can have a word with our unfortunate second DNF, Trugster. Trugster man lost it at turn number 3 according to my track map, and it's where Andrew lost it as well. So what's happening there? We're seeing a lot of spins. You're on mute, my guy. I think he's gone and stepped away from it. Oh, here we are.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello there, Trugster.
Hiya. No, I didn't lose it. I just turned in slightly too tight and it took the wheel off on the inside of the curb. I've posted it in the chat, the little video clip. It was very tiny. It just took my wheel straight off.
And of course, I think something similar happened to Andrew as well. I don't know if you were able to see that from your point of view.
No, I didn't see that, no.
All right, but otherwise, what would be advice for drivers if you're looking to avoid a DNF into that turn?
I don't know. It's just it's a very precise corner, and I just took it slightly too. To be honest, it didn't look like I were taking it incorrectly, and then it just boom, wheel went off. So I don't know. I think the drivers know how to take that turn. They don't need my advice.
Of course, reserved for Division 1, but we'll be seeing you full-time tomorrow in Division 2. What do you think you can learn from tonight that you can take into tomorrow?
One must finish with 4 wheels.
A sound advice. We'll leave it there. Thank you, Truckster, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Nice to speak to you. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye-bye. Sorry, Truckster there with the best advice anyone can give. One must have 4 wheels. I think we'll add that to the words of SSRL wisdom there in the commentary, from the commentary booth there in DNF. Goodness me, I'm not good. I swear that's gonna have to be an SSRL tagline now, though. Thanks to him saying that. I'm just actually watching the replay now. And goodness me, yeah, no, there was not a lot in that. Of course, I will show you the video footage after the race, just before the DNFs. I don't know if I can pin that, though. I might have to try and download that during the safety car period while the drivers aren't chatting. But anyway, at the moment, the gaps are kind of starting to really spread out. But of course, thanks to, a few mistakes here and there. Andy Andre has just made his pit stop now. He's on for, I think it will be a one-stop strategy. He's got the hard tyres on right now, so he's down to 8th place. Neither Quincy nor Bards could really undercut him, as Quincy actually has overtaken Bards since we watched that, and he's already checking out 1.4 seconds for the Williams driver, so he's on a real charge. We are still waiting for pit stops from, let's see, Crankjorg, Kavachka, well, one of them we can already see. Ryan Brooks there will be on hard tyres. He'll have 17 laps on those tyres. Let's see where he comes out of, because, oh, it's going to be a front wing replacement as well. Ah, that's unfortunate there for the British driver. And, well, he will get that front wing tightened. And out he goes. It will be behind... It'll be behind both Quincy and Bards there, or maybe just a bit of a separation there. As now, there you go, Ryan Brooks side by side with the Williams. Currently 11th place, but of course we need to see more pit stops before the evening is concluded. And thanks to that pit stop, Andy now up into 7th as now Salvi and Flip do battle, as Flip there is missing a large portion of his front wing. Wonder what's happened to him, as now Salvi up into 8th place there, but with a 3-second post-race penalty to come his way. Thanks to track limit violations, we'll need to keep an eye on his gaps to the drivers around him. At the moment, he will be ahead of Quincy, so that will confirm him 10th place as of right now, but Quincy, of course, will be on those slightly fresher tyres. 2 laps, not really a major difference. But then, of course, in the background, we're seeing Ryan Brooks, Bards, and Quincy do battle with one another. And there you go, thanks to, I think that'll be thanks to Ryan Brooks now. Bards can use a bit of DRS, as they're, well, both Salvi and Flip there now with penalties. Of course, Flip there was the one to add on to his time. It's now Babish from the lead of the race. What a race this has been from the Williams. Tight, controlled, and consistent, but now under pressure from Andy Andre, as I think we were just about to see a battle there. And yeah, Flip going very wide, so that allows Moksha to the inside. Flip going very wide indeed. And now we need to cut back to Andy, because where is he going to come out in comparison to the Williams? He's not going to be close at all. The undercut not working for Andy, and all of a sudden now he has got work to do. And this is going to, well, I've seen miracle drives from Andy before, and well, this is going to be on pure pace alone, as we see Quincy also make a move for 10th place, and he is just behind the McLaren there of Moksha, already within DRS range to him. So that's good news for Quincy. He's starting to catch up to everybody, and as is Ryan Brooks as well. So he's still got a race to go, but just really needs to keep it consistent, as of course now Race Chase benefiting from Flip's pit stop, and Race Chase probably down in the dumps a little bit. Started in 9th place, but at the moment he is outside the top 10 and is hoping that pit stops or maybe a safety car can bring him back into the equation. By the way, looking at Energetic, he's having a good race of his own, but now will have to concede to the current Drivers' Champion for what has been 5 seasons in a row for the Romanian. Energetic currently trying to find his way through Crankjorg, but through the castle section, you're not going to find much room there. And now look at Andy Andre right on the back of these two, and he will be held up because he won't have the DRS right off the bat there. As now Energetic, is he seriously going to try something down there? He's giving the ass a push, and well, he's going to make a bit of room for himself, and well, Energetic being pushed to the side there, and oh no, Andy Andre loses his end plate again, going into the back of what was Crankjorg there. And now Mr. Welter has come in the pit lane, and damage for the Romanian. What a horrible opening this is turning out to be. And now, well, he's going to try and take advantage of the Haas slipstream, but maybe wants to pull out of that as early as possible. So Energetic is going to try something, and Energetic on the comeback here onto DRS, but Andy has it as well. They're going to go side by side into turn 1. There's going to be a little bit of room given, and that is... Who is that? That is Mr. Router ahead. There, I thought he was trying to defend from Kovachka, but I think he was just... No, that was his pit stop. Mr. Router is genuinely in second place. What a race from him so far. Just needs to be wary of that penalty. Is of course going to serve contact between the Mercedes and the Kicksauber. A lot of pressure coming here, but now let's have a look. Can somebody make a move in this pack? Currently all the way for 7th, but no one can make a move. And, everybody just making it line astern there, and hopefully, well, for Bards, for the sake of Bards, he can make some moves, but currently down 10 positions. And I wonder if he's got some end plate damage. Let's just have a look at his front wing very briefly. Yeah, no, that front wing has been decimated. He's losing time. And this is what could have been a great start for the Red Bull has turned out to be an evening to forget. Well, Andy RJ, despite still being in the running, is now carrying a damaged car to the end of the race, I think. Yeah, that front right end plate has completely gone. Of course, made contact. Of course, he made contact with the back of what was the Haas driver there, and now in all sorts of trouble. But Quincy there, 2/10 of a second going into that corner. Of course, very easy to get that wrong. We saw several red flags for crashes at that corner. Even Charles Leclerc in the real-life Formula 1. It's all Quincy there having a moment. That might give Ryan Brooks the momentum that he needs, but I think he's decided to actually back out of that due to these fast and tight left and right-handers. Those, of course, composed of turns 18 and 19. 20 there is just that little kick. Quincy should really have this in the bag. DRS open. That's as academic as you like. And that is Quincy up into 8th place. Of course, he won't have enough to have DRS on the McLaren in front as Ryan Brooks now making his move. So both the Ferrari driver letting both cars behind him straight through, as now Andy RJ has made a move for 3rd place. And now we need to cut back and see what's happening as we hear a squeal out of turn number 2. And does Quincy have the ERS? Does he have the straight line speed to keep both drivers behind? He does. Not enough straight there to really get a move composed. And that is Quincy now solidifying 8th place, but really now needs to get a hurry up on to the McLaren in front. 2 seconds. Can he get the second on this lap? We'll keep an eye on that as the lap goes on. We're at the halfway point of the Grand Prix, and at the moment it's looking like Bavish being your runaway winner. We are not used to this. Bavish will be taking his first win at the first time of asking in Season 7 here in Baku. What has been an explosive Grand Prix. But does Andy have something in response also? Who is on the fresher tyres? It's only 2 laps belonging to Bavish, and that is not a whole lot of difference when you're looking at the grand scheme of things there, considering that compound of tyre. But an important move for Andy coming right up. He's just over 10 seconds to the Williams into the lead. Might need a bit of momentum on this first DRS zone, but then we'll need an overtake done into the second one. Of course, Energetic being the closest one of them all. We'll keep an eye on that gap to 2nd and 3rd, as now Energetic is closing in. He has made his pit stop, so this is for genuine position, as Herman down to 16th. Of course, swapped with Jolly Boy John recently and is now Energetic now side by side with the McLaren. Gets it done. Kovachka, of course, still yet to make a stop as Bards now overtakes the Ferrari of Salvi there. That is for 10th place. Would have had that regardless, even if he didn't make the overtake. But now Energetic solidifies 4th place and is now going to be on the hunt to the cars in front. Quincy has been overtaken by Ryan Brooks for 8th place there, and it looks like Salvi might be ready to make the comeback on the Red Bull, but not close enough to do so, as Flip now gets the fastest lap of the race. What tyre is he on? He's currently on the medium, so no surprises there. 3-lap old medium, so I don't think... Oh no! As Barnes has crashed! He's solidified... Oh, and Quincy has missed the corner altogether, and safety car deployed, and his front wing end plate goes flying. And I think Quincy saved the position because... No, he did not. So now, that lead Babish has built up is going to be decimated. Thanks to Barnes there getting it wrong at turn 3. And goodness me, and I think we can all assume how that would have gone. As now Herman is given a second bite at the cherry. I think he literally just came in as well. He came in a lap ago. But surely now you're thinking, well, it's medium tyres to the end now. If you're anybody at all, if you're a betting person. But at the moment now, the McLarens benefit heavy from this. Kvachka especially benefits heavy from this. And he was waiting, I bet you he was waiting for the safety car to be deployed. And, well, it's come to fruition. The McLarens now are in a genuine top 10 fight here for points. What a turnaround this evening has become for the British-based team. As we now see Bavish come into the pits, surely it is medium tyres to the end. Let's just keep an eye and open up the tyre graphic, and there you go, even on 4-lap old hards, coming right in, as does Andy RJ, as you would expect. But now Andy, of course, I think needs to change his front wing, because it, of course, suffered damage thanks to, well, the teammate of the car that's just gone past there. Medium tyres order for the Romanian. Of course, the Romanian has made miracles happen in these kind of positions. We've had 3 retirements already, and all of them as Ryan Brooks gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I think he will serve that on his next stop, which he might just have 1 lap round the safety car, come in again, and just accept he's going to lose a few positions. Quincy also doing the same, and yeah, apart from Verstappen not taking a pit stop, he will go to the end on those hard tyres. Race Chase also into the pits along with Cratchorg and Flip, and I think a lot of people will be following suit very soon. I don't know if Herman will, though. That's my only thought, as Verstappen is the outlier in this. So Verstappen now on for an excellent result. I did not see this top 3 when we began this evening. Let's just show you the biggest winners and losers so far. Energetic, driver of the day, Kvachka, driver of the day material, on a, well, was on a no-stop strategy until lap 13. Safety car pulls out and he says, thank you very much. I'll take my rightful 6th place. He's earned that on merit alone. That is an amazing, amazing drive from him. And, well, of course, safety car is, of course, partial luck, but it is nonetheless welcomed for the Haas driver. What is that for Tarcangino? That is hard tyres to the end for the Kick Sauber, looking to try and make some positions. He's one position away from a point-scoring position. So, you know, if he could benefit from other drivers' mistakes towards the end of the race, well, maybe those hard tyres might not prove to be too silly. Of course, the mediums might drop off, but I don't think it's going to happen at this point of the race. And we are going to have another lap under safety car conditions. So I think we'll be underway either lap 17 or lap 18. It's very hard for me to calculate exactly when we'll go underway. But if anybody in the chat has more knowledge than me of how long the safety car stays out, then of course feel free to give it a mention. Of course, we haven't actually seen a replica of this crash, but one of the most infamous moments from Baku was when Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen crashed into each other on the very straight you are looking at. Of course, we haven't seen anything like that so far. Luckily, all the drivers knowing not to move under braking. And, well, it's going to be interesting to see how this all works out. But at the moment now, we're going to see. Let's double check your biggest winners and losers. Well, I think your biggest winner here by far and away is Kvachka. And your biggest losers, of course, Bards, in pole position. I don't think that kind of crash really works in this game. Probably not, to be honest with you. But anyway, Bards here, of course, was one of your biggest losers, as was Trugstad, of course, Andrew as well. So your 3 DNFs, your biggest loser, especially Bards there, starting in pole position, but failing to convert it at the first time of asking. That is going to hurt there for the Red Bull. I just wonder if we could really hear a few words from Bards. But let's see. I wonder if we could have a quick DNF interview with him, and then maybe just try and talk to him a little bit. We'll see. Of course, I do think we'll have another lap under safety car conditions. I didn't think to do that until just now. So it might be a bit late. But we'll see if he agrees to it. Of course, I wouldn't blame him if he didn't. He's probably offline by now. Yeah, no, we haven't heard from him just yet. Of course, I'll keep an eye on my Discord VC, but it is going to be Bavish leading what are now the 15 drivers behind him. Race controller has yet to call the safety car, so we're going to have another lap under these conditions, and then well, it should be next up. We go underway. We're just waiting for the Red Bull of Jolly Boy John and the Kick Sauber of Tark and Gino to catch up with us. And then and then as soon as that happens, we'll be underway. But I think Race Control will wait no longer than the next lap to be underway. So we're going to go on to lap 17 under safety car conditions. And just getting a response from Bart now, but I assume this is going to be a no. We'll wait and see, though. So there you go. Lap 17 begins. And yeah, it will be next lap. We'll be under racing conditions. So lap 18 out of 26 will be back underway. And at the moment, can any of the surprise drivers hold on to their positions? Of course, Kavachka will be one to keep an eye on. Of course, even if he finishes within the top 10, great stuff from him. Moksha as well might be getting ready to benefit from all of this as well as Ryan Brooks, obviously. Wait, Ryan Brooks is still racing and he's had a disconnect, but he has a bit of time on his side to get back into the session. I don't know. Yeah, no, so Bart's right now not in the best of moods right now. We won't be hearing from him, but Ryan Brooks there has disconnected. He will be in a hurry to try and get back. Can he get back before we're underway? Of course, he will have a bit of time when the safety car... There we go, he is back. So that was extremely fast there, of course, was placed 7th, is placed 7th. As of right now, he will stay there, but with a 10-second penalty to serve as well at the, what will probably be the end of this race, to be honest with you. Might be trying to get that removed, you never know. He might be hanging on, and he might know something that we do not hear in the commentary box. Of course, we'll hand it over when we can to Bavish and his Williams engine, and we will hear that get us underway. As now, surely, any moment now, we'll hear the call. Well, we won't hear the call. We'll see the call from Race Control to bring in the safety car, and then we will see how the restart goes. I'm sure Bavish will be pacey off the line, but Verstappen there on those hard tyres, he will need a couple of laps just to get those hards into a working order. And of course, the crossover points in both tyre compounds will probably be towards the end of the race. And there we go, safety car is called out. Despite Tark and Gino not catching up, the safety car has, well, got up for what they feel is the maximum amount of time needed. Debris has been cleared. We no longer need the pace. So, Bavish, take it away. And that just felt like it wasn't the best of restarts there. Verstappen still within 3.5 tenths off of that, so already a bit of trouble for Bavish as he comes to the line there. The slipstream now coming into the fact for the Haas, but not close enough there to take advantage of it into turn 1. But already Bavish getting a bit of a better run out of the exit of the turn there, as we're seeing a bit of battling there in the background. I think that was maybe the Alpine trying to make a move, but nowhere to go. But look at Energetic's run. Verstappen losing momentum on the exit of turn 2. There's also the Alpine of Herman trying to go side by side, but Energetic didn't even need the corner. Moved on, and that is the Kick Sauber into second place on genuine pace, might I remind you. He does not need to make another stop or anything like that, as we have a caution in sector 1 for Jolly Boy John, and he's gone off at what has been a real victim corner for all the drivers. He's back underway though, so it doesn't matter, but Tark and Gino in a free position, and Quincy is round at the worst corner, as Tark and Gino has to take more avoiding action, and Quincy down to 15th, and he is, well, one of our biggest losers. From 9th to 15th, he has gone, well, technically from 6th to 15th, but of course he was at 9th at the start, I think, or something like that. It's Craig Jorg now with a 3-second penalty for track limit violations. Andy has not been quick off the line to try and make some moves, but Energetic unexpectedly putting pressure on Bavish. He's hovering within that 1 second window and might have it going into the second gear. So Bernard's Mr. Welter. Oh, what a good start. Completely undone. And, well, it's gone from an absolutely great Grand Prix to an absolutely miserable one. We'll have to wait for Quincy. It's goodbye, baby. Oh, goodness me. That was close to being something catastrophic there from SSRL. That could have been a very bad way to end things. But look at Energetic. Where on earth has this come from? As Ryan Brooks out round the outside into turn 1. What a move from the British driver. It's a shame he has those 10 seconds, though. As that flip goes down the inside into turn 1. But now, Energetic with DRS not going to be close enough to take advantage of Bavish there. So he will have to wait for another lap as Mr. Welter into the pit lane there right away. And, well, that damage to the front wing needing a bit of repair and a replacement. And Andy, by the way, did, well, thanks to all that, is now up into 4th. But now Verstappen is 1.7 seconds behind the top 2, but now it's going to become an exciting race for the top 3. But Andy needs to make this move as quickly as possible. Time is of the essence. He has been in this kind of position before, but now with drivers that are comparatively on pace, I didn't expect Energetic to be up there, but then again, a surprise is always welcome in your predictions, but I did not think it would go this way. Of course, Bards will be back to fight another day, I promise you that. He has got pace in hand, and he will be a competitor to look out for throughout the season. Just needs to watch it on street circuits, though. You're also seeing Ryan Brooks in the background. He's had to wait till this part of the Grand Prix to actually really come into the picture. And even then, he's got 10 seconds to serve, either post-race or at his next pit stop. And of course, could have served it under safety car conditions, but I think he wants the positions and to try and remove it in the steward's room. We'll see, of course, if that goes well for him. But, of course, we're about to see a swap for the lead, potentially. But we are definitely seeing a swap for 3rd place because DRJ is only a 10th behind. And Energetic takes the fastest lap of the race. But, more importantly, Andy makes a move for what is 3rd place. Verstappen gets the car stopped in time, as does Andy Andre. Energetic, though, with no move there into turn 1. Let's just make sure we catch all of this, because Energetic will have a second burst of DRS, as Quincy also swaps for 12th into turn 1. So a lot happening here at the start of the race, but there you go, no moves there from the kickstart, but going into the next turn. But now Andy will not be too far away, might even carry the Haas with him, but will definitely be carrying the Alpine with him of Ryan Brooks. But of course, remembering that he does of course have a penalty hanging over him right now. Verstappen now is in 4th place, and Ryan Brooks now is right on the back of him. So Verstappen on those hard tyres, it's not going to work out, because now surely Moksha will take advantage of this and go up into 5th place. Ryan Brooks will be held up as we go through, so it could be Moksha on for a top 5 finish. And what a recovery this would be. Both McLarens are up 10 positions and are not too far away from each other, all things considered. Of course, Moksha checking out of Kovachka, and that's what I expected, considering Moksha is usually the faster of the two on pace alone. But I also want to give a big, huge kudos to the Mercedes of Andy. Already 1.4 seconds to the top 2, and now maybe Energetic is starting to think about making a move on the Williams car. Andy proven to be the fastest driver on those mediums, and already a miracle comeback is happening here. We weren't sure how things were going to go, needed a safety car to come back into play, and it has worked perfectly, as now Energetic is surely going to make a move on Bavish. She takes the fastest lap of the race at 1:43.3, but Bavish will fight back. Bit of a lock up on the front left, and then Andy Andre takes the fastest lap as Ryan Brooks now makes a move into turn 1 for 4th place. He's got that done, but now Bavish fights back into turn 2 for the lead of the race. Who has DRS at this current moment in time? I think it is the Williams driver of Bavish. It indeed is, but who is going to be on top going in? And there's been a massive crash in the background, but this part for the lead needs to sort out, and it is. But I think it's Salvi who's found himself in the barrier, or maybe going wide there, and well, that is now going to be a huge upset for him, as now his teammate Craig Jorg is ahead. No, he isn't. That's Craig Jorg going into the barrier. Oh, the Ferrari of Salvi into that turn as well, nearly becoming the 4th DNF in that singular turn. And at the moment now, well, look at this. We have a top 3 battle for the lead of the race, but other battles are happening around the track as well. Quincy also up into 12th. He's trying to recover. Herman into 10th place there. The Season 1 champion still trying to find form from what I would say, dare say, 3 seasons ago. Just things not quite going his favour as of right now. And Moksha now is right on the back of Verstappen, as this is what he would have wanted. And look at Kovachka, he's also been playing a massive role. 4 seconds separating his teammate. Kovachka there played the team game really nicely. Oh my goodness me! The Alpine of Ryan has made a mistake! That 10-second penalty no longer... Whoa! Real bit of an unsafe, a bit of an interesting line there, and now he's been tapped! I think he got tapped by Flip, he did! And he's not going to be happy about that, and look at that, a massive portion of his front wing has gone. Hopefully this doesn't turn into a rage moment, but Flip definitely made contact. You heard the noise, and there you go. Flip just backs out of it as Moksha up into 4th place. And now, well, a top 3 battle for 5 laps here as Flip now retires from the session. But, oh, and that's cause. Wait, no, that wasn't the cause. Wait, is it? Yes, it is. Because he's gone and skipped the pit lane. He's gone all the way to the exit. If you see, he went all the way to the exit thanks to speeding. And he's missed his pit box and then caused an accident at the end of the pit lane. My goodness me. The things that have happened in this game, that is the 3rd virtual safety car of the evening. And, well, this has certainly not been the start they would have wanted here, the admins and stewards, but so that's going to have to be investigated as to see what on earth happened there. Maybe that was actually a crash at the pit lane entry, you never know. So that might not have been the case of crashing at the end of the pit lane. But then again, we don't know. At the moment now, we have a top... Well, hopefully the gaps come back to underneath a second when we go racing again. And hopefully this amazing battle resumes on, but of course there are other battles now happening. Moksha up into 4th place. There you go. We're back under racing speed now. Virtual race control cool. Well, remove the virtual safety car limitations, and we are back racing. 1.5 seconds for Bavish now. Well, I think is Andy going to be closer for DRS, but then we have a caution in sector 2 for Jolly Boy John. Short-lived. And we will continue racing from there. But Energetic already getting back within the DRS range. He won't be close enough to have a go this time around, and neither will Andy Andre, so the gaps will just kind of... battle is neutralised for 1 lap. So now 4 laps to go, and well, one of these 3 drivers will come out a winner. Can Bavish start a championship charge at the first time of asking, or will Andy make 2 positions? And in the background there, we see Verstappen and Moksha make contact into turn 1 there, as Quincy gets past the Haas teammate of Crank Jorg there, and now is looking at Ryan Brooks for good measure, who of course made a mistake a few laps ago. And look at Andy Andre with DRS here, but it's not going to be close enough. Not enough straight going into turn number 3. But does Moksha have a comeback on Verstappen going into that turn? It's all something's happened in the background, I thought, as Crank Jorg there involved in a little battle as Quincy makes a move, and he's now 9th place and could benefit from Herman's... Oh, and there's a Haas now spun round. Had enough gap to get back underway, but lots of spins happening at turn 3, the problematic corner. Quincy was telling everybody in the chat, watch out for turn 1. Nothing's happened there. Watch out for turn 3 would have been the correct thing to say, but of course, hindsight is 2020, and we are 5 years past that. At the moment, Energetic still trying to fight to get in with this 1 second gap, and of course it would be important for him just to defend from Andy Andre alone, and he's gone and done it. 9.5 tenths going into the final couple of corners. And you know what? I think Verstappen has played an absolute blinder, because he's checking out for Moksha, who I think just made a mistake on the exit of that turn. Oh, he's got a missing end plate, that's why. But now Energetic has DRS on Bavish, so that means he will drag Andy along, and all sorts of pressure now on the Mauritian driver, and it is Mauritian. I did check that while we were under safety car conditions. I do believe I got that right, but I will have to just double check and make sure. Oh, Energetic misses his braking point, similar to Lewis Hamilton in 2021. A good result is robbed from the hands of Energetic, so that means Andy and Bavish will do battle for the final few laps of the race. And well, look at this, Verstappen now on the back. He's getting ready for a podium, or was. DRS. Oh, and Hamilton's gone straight on. Or Andy has gone straight on at turn 1. Echoes of 2021 with the magic button. And well, Energetic has to concede for 3rd place, and no safety car will come out at this point. It is over for Energetic in terms of a win, and now the 2 drivers who are looking like they are going to put on a show for Season 7 are now going to do battle for the last 3 laps. And well, it will be 2 opportunities under DRS for Andy. That'll be about, I would say, about what? Like yeah, there's going to be about four or five opportunities under DRS conditions, but Babish will be alert. He is race smart, but that wasn't a smart turn there from the Williams driver. And now all of a sudden, Andy, well, will Babish play DRS chicken here? He could afford to, if he could have. Well, yeah, no, he's going to keep Andy in behind him for the time being, but I think Andy's going to get this move done. Look at this, all the way to the pit lane entry, and that might induce a penalty because that is technically cutting on the pit lane. I don't know if Quincy will count that, though. I would like to know, I would have liked to know his opinion on that if he was in the commentary box, but now side by side on the exit of turn 1. What can he do through turn 2? They're going to continue going side by side, maybe? No, but Andy does the over and under, and Babish continues to defend. He's going to go all the way to the left, and at the moment now, with these two going to get into contact, no, Babish gives him the inside in the end, and Babish going to fight back around the outside. They do make contact, and I think Andy went into the side there just a little bit, but will Babish fight this back? Both are being aggressive with one another. This is excellent stuff from the Romanian and the Mauritian. This is absolutely amazing racing from these two as Herman has made a move on Kovachka. Well, these two fighting still, and well, the McLaren makes a mistake and Kovachka in the wall. After such an amazing race, he's going to lose a couple of positions, and there's Quincy taking advantage of all of that. And what is Herman's penalty? 3 seconds, and Quincy 8 tenths away from all of that. And now we have a caution in sector 1 with Jolly Boy John going off. And now can Babish try and fight back into the next DRS zones? Of course, they won't have to worry about a safety car. That much is over. But Babish really needs to try and sort himself out for a better entry into this turn. He gets it, but Andy does something better. He has just been on fine form throughout this Grand Prix. And again, when the cards were down, Andy found a way to come back energetic. By the way, has held on to third. But now look at Babish. He will have 2 more opportunities. He's just going to need to set himself up for the second DRS zone. He's not going to be close enough to have a go on this first go. 8 tenths of a second. Final lap, and there is 3.7 miles for one of these two to take a win. There is a battle in the background. There is Race Chase has even come into this, and Babish to hold on the accelerator, and it's over for the Williams. It will be another Mercedes win, and Babish needs to try and get back underway as soon as possible, and he's lost third. What is going on here in Baku? Chaos has ensued, and Verstappen will not be close enough as now Babish is going to have to desperately hold on to try and get third. He's within 5 tenths of a second. Is Babish going to try and move? No, he is probably conceding, and that is heartbreak for the Williams. But what about the Aston Martin here? As the Aston Martin trying to get 5th place here from the McLaren, as we hear another bang in the background there to my right ear. I've heard that about 3 times now on this broadcast, and I think just a lot of people making contact with the wall, but Babish is starting to drop back, and he just couldn't hold it together. How on earth have we ended up with this top 3? Well, we've had 1 safety car, 3 BSCs, and a lot of mistakes here at this early part of Season 7, and it has been an exciting Grand Prix, but things sometimes never change. A Romanian, when the cards were down, has a safety car play into it and has the pace, and all of a sudden, Andy, 5 times champion in a row here in this league, will probably make it 6, but there's a long way to go. But the first step is always the most crucial, and he gets it right at the start-finish line. Now the Romanian wins in Baku, and now energetic with the most unlikeliest of second places. Second place for Verstappen, third Babish from the podium to 4th there, but can Race Chase do it? Oh, 3 thousandths of a second separated Race Chase from 5th, and Quincy, once all penalties worked out, has to settle for 8th. And then Kovachka 9th, Argentino 10th, Craig Jorg 11th after Ryan Brooks' 10-second penalty, Salvi in 13th, Jolly Boy John will come home 14th as Mr. Walter comes home with a singular point, but had better pace to show. But what a race that was! What an opener for Season 7, and that is a sign of things to come. We have 12 more races of this to come your way. And if this is as exciting as it was, there is so much to come your way. And we have 2 divisions as well. Don't forget that. And also, Herman will be with us tomorrow for Division 2. So, of course, race 1 not going the way of, well, race number 1 not going the way of the German, but he will join me tomorrow, and I'm sure we will have discussions about that, and we will have a driver's point of view in the commentary box. But the Mercedes of Andy Andre, well, some things never change, do they? But Energetic was catching at the end there. So you never know, maybe a few more laps and Energetic could have been in contention for the win there. But for now, he'll have to settle for second best. But that's no bad thing considering his races now. The Haas of Verstappen with an excellent opener. Of course, a lot of that was down to luck with other drivers making mistakes. But regardless, it is still a genuine podium for Verstappen. Your accolades, driver of the day, I think that is deserved. Energetic 6 with the most overtakes. Cleanest driver goes to Moksha. Fastest lap, Mr. Router, and your race winner, we all know. Of course, very much getting used to saying his name throughout these past 4 seasons, maybe 5 now even. But there's your top 3 right there. Energetic, Verstappen round that out. Babish and Moksha in 5th. And then 6th to 10th is Race Chase Herman, Jose Vajka, Gradjog, and Tokajino there with Ryan Brooks. No, Gradjog at 11. Oh, bloody hell. I'm just going to... That's the first time I've messed that up, by the way. First time I've ever messed that up. I guess there's a first time for everything, I guess. But anyway, we're just going to wait for the top 3 to all make their way into the podium. We've got 2 of them already. We'll just wait and see on Verstappen. I was going to say Babish there, but unfortunately, well, as we all know, unfortunately for him, mistakes were made. But otherwise, well, what an opener that was. Of course, Andy Andre continuing to prove why he is the best in this league, going for 6 Drivers' Championships in a row, and looking a little unstoppable. Very scary stuff there from the Romanian, but a lot more competition this time around. We've got Bards in there as well. Of course, unfortunately, he had suffered an early DNF, so we didn't really get to see how far he could go in that regard. Of course, there's Quincy in there as well. There is, let's have a think, Energetic even as well, staying there on genuine pace alone. Like, I mean, there's a lot more to this season now, just based on round 1 alone. And it looks like it's going to be a case of consistency throughout the season if this is anything to go by, of course. We'll have a fuller picture once we get into round 4, but of course, Bavish as well, right in there. Lots to go through in terms of storylines, and everything throughout the season. We're still waiting on Verstappen to come into the box for a podium interview, but I don't know if we're going to get that. So give him another minute. But of course, I think deserved driver of the day goes to Energetic 6 there. Just try and reach out to him. And of course, as well, one of the best improvements as well from Race Chase as well, 6th place in Division 1. Was really down on pace in the preseason, but has found something and put it together. 6th place in the Aston Martin, of course. He is, I think, full-time in Division 1. No interview for 3rd place is Quincy. So we're just going to move on. We're going to have 2 in the interview room tonight, and I think we should only start with the winner. Some things never change, do they, Andy? Congratulations on yet another win. Cards were down yet again, but you found a way to bring it all back, and you come out with the win. In the end, you were the most consistent on track.
Yeah, very surprising to hear you say that. I've been through a couple of front wings. I finished the race with the 3rd one. Yeah, surprisingly, the others did a bit worse than that, so managed to snatch the win away in the final moments.
And of course, well, part of that was thanks to Bavish just making that mistake. I think it was right on the final lap, which of course gave you a clear road of about 6 seconds. And I think that must have been a lot of pressure off your shoulders after 26 laps of doubting if you were even going to be on the top step. Finally, all that kind of went away. Can you just describe that final lap from your point of view?
Yeah, certainly. I was just trying to push flat out to put as much pressure as possible. A mistake is very easy to make around this track, and I was trying to force the others into a bit of damage. And yeah, apparently it worked out that way. Also, the top two fighting amongst themselves really helped me to catch up. There were a vital 3 or 4 seconds, which really put me back into the game in the final laps. And yeah, just managed to be just a tiny bit more consistent than the others today, and it was enough to get me the win.
And now, of course, like I said earlier on, you're on for your you're on the campaign for 6 Drivers' Championships in a row. Of course, I won't. I will just kind of state to say that there is a very long way to go, and there's a lot more competition this time around. Of course, Bavish, we know, is incredibly quick, but still needing to work on his consistency. And then, of course, well, I was even surprised to see Energetic up there, considering Kick Sauber as well. But really is making that car work. Found something that you found from last season as well. And then, of course, we've got Bards up there as well. So it's like, what? How are you seeing the championship unfold as the picture gets a bit more clearer as the rounds continue to progress?
Well, as you said, energetic is always a tough fight when trying to make a pass. So he's always one to take into consideration. But from what I've been able to see today from inside the cockpit, I think the best race pace we've seen was with Bavish and Bard. So yeah, really tough competition in that respect. It's not really looking good at this point, but we'll see how the races go on. This track really doesn't suit me that much, so we'll see what the future brings.
And then, of course, we're off to Singapore next week. How are you seeing that go down?
Again, it's not one of my favorites, but really anything is is better than Baku, so a bit more optimistic for that one.
Andy Andre, thank you so much for taking my questions this evening. And, of course, congratulations again on your win. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yep, thank you very much. See you next week.
See you
Bye.
next week. Energetic. It could have been so much more, but in the end, you have to settle for second place. A mistake just towards the latter half of the Grand Prix just cost it for you. But then, of course, Bavish making his own mistake got you at least a second place. Looking back on everything, are you happy with that?
Yes, I'm happy with P2. I was on for P1, but I forgot my braking point into turn 1 at some point. So I was like, okay, let's try to take the podium.
And of course, I can't, unfortunately, because of how much happened in that race, I can't really remember where you started from. So apologies about that. But how hard did you have to fight your way through the field? Because I think at some point I saw you outside of the top 10 early on in that race.
Yeah, and the beginning of lap 2, I was beside Jolly Boy John, and he squeezed me into the wall, which gave me wing damage. And then I needed to box for new tires. I went for the hards, and my first thought of that was going to the end on lap 3 to lap 26. That's what I was trying to do. But yeah, then safety car came out, and I had to box for mediums again, and I jumped Andy and Wouter in the box because of the wing change they needed to make, and I was happy with that.
And now going on to Singapore next week, are you just hoping to improve your qualifying position a little bit and then maybe try and contend for some more wins? Or do you feel like it's going to be more of a reserved season for you?
More for reserved, because next week I will be staying on the bench due to work attendances. So I'm not there next week, unfortunately.
Well, we hope to see you at some point very soon. Looking very good in that kick Sauber, despite all those moments you had this week. So we'll keep an eye out for you. But Energetic, congratulations on second place, and thank you for taking my questions this evening. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, well, that concludes the podium interviews, and that concludes our evening proceedings for the evening. Well, of course, we will be back with you tomorrow night at the exact same time, 7:30 p.m. Be EST. We are, of course, changing time zones here for daylight savings. That will be on the 26th of October. I will give you more information about that closer to the time. But as of right now, we are going to see, we are off to Singapore, and of course, we've already gone through our first 6 races there. But of course, to end out the season, for the 6 after that, we have Italy, United States, and Las Vegas, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, and the United States and the Mission Grand Prix. Now, I do kind of need to announce something a little bit sad for tonight. This will be, unfortunately, well, I say unfortunately, it is going to be my last season of commentary on the SSRL channel, but that is, of course, because I am moving over to the States to get married, and I think I announced this last season, but I do feel like Season 7 is going to be my goodbye season. We'll just snooze the ads if you're on the live stream. Of course, if you are watching on YouTube, you probably don't need to worry about that, which is one of the nice things about YouTube when you subscribe to Premium or have an ad blocker. But yeah, no, so I just kind of wanted to get that out the way now for round 1. Of course, we will have I think a more proper goodbye when we have a few dates solidified here and there. And of course, we already have a commentator lined up as my replacement whenever the time is needed. So everything will be still running smoothly. You will still get all of Season 7 broadcasted one way or another. But for now, the first few rounds are at least going to come from me, myself, and I. And we've got a few more weeks, I think. It really depends on a few things which are unfortunately out of my control. So otherwise, we'll just kind of take it week by week, and well, I'll be back with you for tomorrow. But until then, from wherever you may be in the world, I do wish you a very good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. And from all of the SSRL admins, we do also wish you all the very best. And I will actually end on a little bit of a different song here. But until next week, or maybe until tomorrow if you want to stick around for Division 2, we will see you again. But until then, bye for now.